Hi, welcome to Chit Chatting with Lovelady. We're going to start off with our first topic. Let's get it started. So, we're going to just go ahead on and knock this one out because it's usually one of the most talked about things this time of year. So, now that we're closing out one year, going into another, what are some things that you want to, or you seeking to have different for the new year? It can be anything. It can be garden related. It can be home related. It can be job related. It can be your children. It can be your friends. What is something that you want to do different this upcoming year that you want to close that chapter from 2020? So now that we're leaving 2020, what do you want to do differently in 2021 that you did not do, or you felt that didn't go as planned? So I will go first, of course. So I think for me, something I want to do different is not be so cluttered. As the days and weeks and months go by, I didn't realize that I was collecting a lot of things. So, especially knowing that I'm in the garden world, so and now entering the canning world as well, I have a lot of hobbies that I love to do that keeps my mind occupied. As far as crocheting, I'm not a pro at it, but I love doing it. Reading books, doing crossword puzzles, of course, gardening, and now canning. And I realized I need a place for everything. So, with that being said, I have all kind of stuff to me that doesn't really have a place for it. If I find a place for one or two things, the other things are not in a place. So I feel so cluttered. My books have a place. Majority of my gardening things have a place. I feel like my crocheting things can be put away with not too much difficulties. And I'm making a room for my canning stuff. And that consists of the jars, the like all the equipment that goes with it, as far as the pots, the canning pressure canners, steam canners, water bath canners. And before you know it, you're collecting. I've also I haven't used it yet, but I have my fermenting things that I haven't put up yet. I also have my freezer bag seal stuff. I have not used that yet as well. And it's like, okay, I don't need anything else in this house. Because now what I find myself is decluttering. And then that's just on my hobbies. That's not including purchasing clothes throughout the year or toys. I have grandbabies, so toys, the mail, it's just a lot of stuff. So what I don't want to do is allow 2020 to be cluttered and 2021 to be cluttered like 2020 end up cluttering at the end of the year. And I am very thankful for all the things that I've started doing and learned how to do, because you're never too old to learn. But just finding a place for everything now. At what point do I stop? So I have to find that stopping point as well. In order not to be cluttered for 2021, I have to find that point to say, hey, you have enough things to get by, to not necessarily just to get by, but to do the things that you need to do. There's no need to add extra, especially on the inside of my living quarters. On the outside, my goal is as well as to organize and declutter. If you're in the garden world, you understand how that process go. A lot of people think, oh, I can just do this and I can do that and I'll be okay. Well, over that course of time, you're learning how to garden, or you gardening, you find all kind of things that you want or you feel like would be suitable for what you're trying to do, and you end up buying it. And before you know it, you're buying, and stuff is just, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, what do I do with this? So I don't want to continuously clutter the space I have, and I want to declutter the things that I've already have, things that I just don't use anymore. You know, I can see now how easily it is to collect things. We used to think, why grandma got all this stuff? Or why my mama keeping all this stuff? Sometimes you don't realize that you have more things than you need. If you can relate, leave that in the comment, because I know I'm not the only one that collect stuff or realize that they have stuff you haven't used like in a year or two. And I've always had a motto that if I'm not using it XYZ length of time, I don't need it. So why do we hold on to that kind of stuff? If you could tell me that, leave that in the comment too, because you know, grandma, did they pass it on to us or what? So it's just, you know, just realizing I have more things than I need. And, you know, when my husband, hold on. No call ID, no answer. So we're going to continue this conversation, and I'm sorry about the phone call. But if you can relate to the cluttering thing, you know, like I say, leave it in the comments. What do you do when you realize you have more things that you technically, I guess you could say, need, because you're probably not using it? So what do you do with yours? Do you donate it? Do you throw it away? I mean, I don't see a sense of purchasing a storage and you're not using it. We have a storage and we pay every month for this storage, but guess what? We rarely go to that storage. Now, Christmas is over. The Christmas tree stuff will go in. All that will go back in. But it's still stuff outside of that we don't use. And my husband said, well, I'm going to go and straighten that storage out. I'm going to throw some stuff away. And yes, it's time consuming too. So for me, alarm. I'm sorry. So for me, that's what I want to do different for 2021, is to be less cluttered, purchase less things that I need. I think that I invested in a lot of things for 2021 that I can actually use on a regular basis. But I have to remember that everything have to have a place for it. And if I continuously purchase stuff or welcome things in, that's just going to keep me cluttered. And I don't want to be a hoarder. And I get it a little bit that a lot of things are sentimental. When your kids grow up, they're not taking everything with them. So they're not cluttered with that, you know. So do you call your kids and say, hey, come pick up this, come get your stuff? As far as diplomas, graduation stuff, prom stuff. I mean, you know, of course, a lot of it is sentimental. So you just don't want to throw it away. But at what point do you keep certain things and say it is worth me keeping? You know, where do you put it? And I'm not in a big place. I'm not in a super tiny place. But my space is just not wide. It's long. I'm in a mobile home. So, yeah, 2021 for me is to get clutter-free. Throw away all the old things that I have not used. I can tell you it's some things I have not used in probably 2 or 3 years since I've been here. And, I ask myself, why do you hold on to it? Like, for what? So that's a major goal. Declutter my space. You may have something that you want to do different in 2021 that you did in 2020. So what is that? Can you share that with us? Leave it in a comment. If you have something that you want to do differently, it can be hey, I don't want to take no crap this year, for 2020. I don't know. I want to do more with my kids this year. I want to read more. It can be just something small. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but only you know that. So, is there something that you want to do different this upcoming year that you failed or you wasn't able to do, or you realized that didn't work for you in 2020? A lot of things happened this year, good and bad. We've lost loved ones through this pandemic. We've lost relationships because some people wasn't able to quarantine together. It's something different you would like to do this year, coming 2021, that didn't happen in 2020 or happened in 2020 that you said, I'm done with that, So I would love to hear your changes or things that you would like to do different. Let's chit chat about it. Leave it in a comment. If you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you can always know when Chit Chat with Lovelady is posting something to her playlist. Or you can always feel free to visit any of my garden playlists. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy these conversations.